So, I was on Echo's live earlier, and I was telling him, dude, you're not tracking, you're getting blown out right now. Basically what I said. Cause he really wasn't. The opponent that he was debating gave a basis for his argument, and then later, Echo said that basis didn't exist, when he explained the basis at least 2 or 3 times.
Be contradictions, but it's up to interpretation. So interpretations meant to minimize contradictions would be inherently likely. For example, there are a lot of Buhan statements that call him the strongest Majin. So I made a distinction between Majin and Bu. Bu could just be referring to more so pure boobs or non-absorption boobs, which is kind of backed up. I'm not using him as like direct evidence, but Koyama on Twitter made that distinction.
Well, Koyama's already said that he's not an authority. Please don't.
Yeah, I've already. Wait.
So just to clarify, his basis here was if there are contradictions, then we should go with the interpretation that allows for the least contradictions. Or rather, the interpretation with the least contradictions is the one that is more probable to be true. And by the way, what I mean by we should go with, I mean it's more probable to be true. And here is another instance where Echo is just not tracking.
I offer again, boos in this context would just be referring to non-absorptions, which would be...
Okay, so then what evidence gives credence to that idea that it's just specifically talking about boos that are unfused?
It would lead to the least amount of contradictions.
Yeah, that doesn't answer my fucking question.
It does. That's yes, it would be inherently likely.
Wait, so you understand that even Boo Tanks refers to Boo Ikalo as a former Boo, right?
So just be clear here. Goji is saying, while in most instances, yeah, they can refer to every Boo, including fused Boos, as Boo. However, in this instance, it's probably not talking about just all the fused Boos because there's contradictions if both statements held true. So it's probably in reference to just the non-fused Boos.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
No, hush.
Go ahead.
Because you said that Boos would be in reference to unfused. That's not.
See, here it is again. He still thinks that this guy is talking about every single instance of Boo is going to be in reference to the non-fused Boo. But he is simply in reference to this one specific instance, or the instances that Echo is in reference to. That just means the specific Boos that aren't fused. And you even see me here trying to clarify, no, that's not what he said. He didn't say that at all. And then I'd go to say what he said, but then Goji was already clarifying, so there's no need for me to do so.
True. That's not what I said. I said in the context of these statements specifically, it'd be likelier, it'd be more consistent if they're talking about just pure Boos. Well, because Buhan is still a Boo, they still call him a Boo. I'm saying in the context of these statements.
He's also still, okay, he's still a Boo, but the issue, what's in question first is with Goku. If he talks about all other forms of Boo, he would also be talking about Buhan.
Why? It's not as consistent.
Okay, so if you, alright, this whole consistent point, you have statements that say that Buhan is the most powerful one. You also have statements that say that Kid Buu is the most powerful one.
They're worded differently.
So, you said what?
But they're worded differently. They call Buhan the strongest Majin, they call Kid Buu the strongest Buu. So I'm trying to make a distinction. Okay, so how can we have both of these statements be true at the same time to make the likeliest interpretation? Because we can't just, because I'm not just going to say, oh, well, let's just throw out all the Kid Buu statements, Buhan's number one, or let's just throw out all the Buhan statements, Kid Buu's number one, right? The best way to look at these statements is try to interpret them in a way where they can both coexist.
So
now this is one of the most notable times that Echo isn't tracking. You'll see what I mean.
Okay, so let's because I still don't understand why there's a separation happening here. Is Buu not a Majin all of a sudden?
I never said he wasn't. I'm saying he is.
I think anyone with ears could definitely see that Echo is not tracking here. Then I start fucking around because I'm bored as fuck watching this.
Majin. That's why when Buhan
okay,
as well.
Okay, so if he's still a Majin, you're saying okay, he's the strongest Majin, but then this other statement is saying he's the strongest Buu, but the Boos aren't they're not separated from being Majins. So they would still be included.
Yeah.
This is painfully non-tracking. Just want to clarify something real quick, just to be clear. I mean absolutely no disrespect by making this post. This post is purely for constructive criticism. I don't have a problem with Echo. I'm pretty sure he has a problem with me because one of his homeboys got dismantled on the topic. Because I don't believe Daima is canon. It's a personal opinion that I think is probable to be true. But I mean no disrespect to Echo. If he has a problem with me, that's fine. I have no problem with him. Unless he's still holding that grudge from 7 months ago when I said he was crashing out over something. And it wasn't even serious. It was a joking matter, which is the funny part. And I want to make sure that I get no information wrong, so I'm going to go to Goji and ask him to confirm everything that I said in this video. Pretty sure me and Goji have debated several times before. I don't remember because it was, I think 8 months ago.
So the Boos would be included as a Majin, but what my issue is that when we're saying Kid Buu is the strongest Buu in these statements, we're applying that to every form of Buu, and I even gave supplementary evidence of Koyama, who's not necessarily, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? not necessarily an authority, but he still gave an interpretation similar to mine, which would just be supplementary evidence.
That doesn't mean that both of you are right, though.
I'm not saying we're right. I'm just using like to say this is a possibility.
Okay, well, your possibility doesn't hold true to what an abundance of evidence tells you.
There's
Go ahead.
Actually.
Okay, that's what I thought. You have Goku, you have narrator, Toriyama, guidebooks.
Yes.
For you, you're saying I have me and Koyama, and what I think is consistent. That's what's happening.
What I have is guidebooks, and just contradictions not being inherently clear.
Okay, contradictions still exist in the Buu saga. That doesn't change anything. You would just go simply.
I already said this earlier that if there is two separate statements that are seemingly contradictory, then we should interpret it in a manner where we can minimize contradictions because that would be an inherently likelier interpretation. That's it. Right? I'm not even saying I'm not even attacking what you meant by like Toriyama. You talk about the Frieza shorter thing.
It wasn't specifically only in reference to Frieza, but yes.
Though, right? That's one.
You said what?
I'm saying like the one where Frieza's in the scan.
Yes.
No. I don't even think that necessarily means anything. Because it could be a general rule. Not even a general. It doesn't have to be a general rule that the shorter ones are always smaller, right? Because that would be that would not be.
Nobody said it's a general. It just Nobody said it's a general rule. It's a consistent rule, though.
Yeah.
That's the issue. But consistent, like in this context, there would be moments where it happens and then moments where it doesn't happen. We would also have to be defining how we're going to call consistent. That's the other thing too with the whole Kid Buu and Buuhan thing. You want to talk about consistency? Consistent. What?
I just realized. Your framing earlier about how you have the anime manga guidebooks of Toriyama. I also have those things under my interpretation.
I never said anime manga guidebooks.
Whatever you said. What guidebooks Toriyama? What else?
I said you have Goku, the narrator, Toriyama guidebooks.
I also have those things because those are just a part of my argument, but in a separate interpretation. So if we really think about this, I have more things. I have the Buuhan statements and everything else you say. You don't have the Buuhan statements because I'm just interpreting those other things differently to be more consistent.
Okay, once again, just because you interpret it differently doesn't mean that you're fucking correct.
Because it doesn't. I'm not saying it's like a fact that it's objective. Buuhan is stronger, right? But because I'm incorporating more evidence by being more consistent, less contradictions, it's likelier. I'm establishing a likelihood. That's it.
Okay, so all right, so then let's start from step one then.
Sure.
Let's just do this. Let's start from step one. Where, in terms of all 8 Buus, where do you have Kid Buu?
He's number 2.
He's number 2.
He's are we including like Buu-Tanks and stuff? I think Buu-Tanks is more debatable. But like
I said 8 Buus, so that would be all of them.
I don't really care about Kid Buu versus Buu-Tanks. I did like.
I didn't ask you if you cared. I'm asking you where you put Kid Buu.
I know. I'm in the context I'm talking about whether I would put him above or below. So, I mean, but okay, I'm not really sure if Buu-Tanks has the same quality of statements as Buuhan. If he does, then
that isn't.
I'm just not sure. I don't have an opinion. But I do think Kid Buu's above Super Buu and Shay would beat Super Boo's ass.
Okay, so all right, let's do this because you're not really answering the question.
And at this point, I just don't think Echo was comprehending what Goji was saying at this point. Goji was saying basically that he was agnostic to this, or he just didn't share a side on this. He didn't really care who won, which is a stance on the topic. It's answering the question. I just don't think it's an answer that Echo wanted to hear. And again, I mean no disrespect by this.
No, the problem is you just danced around that. You didn't answer my question. So what?
You just want me to state out an opinion I haven't even thought about? Okay.
If I want to start from step one, I want to see how we need to go about addressing where Kid Buu is first.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
Because I'm not gonna be sitting here wasting my breath on an argument that shouldn't be made.
I think Kid Buu versus like Buu-Tanks isn't really relevant. If you think it's relevant, like you can tell me how.
It would be relevant because that would also include, if we're talking about Buu-Tanks and Kid Buu, that would also be including what your argument was earlier about the differences between Majins and Buus.
Right, but like
Buu-Tanks. So hold on. If Buu-Tanks is being operated under your paradigm, being the fusion of Buus being their own thing versus the unfused versions.
Yeah.
Now this was yet another time that I don't think Echo was tracking, simply because he didn't say that they were two different entities or two different groups. He was just saying that they were probably in reference to these specific types of Buu, and not the unfused versions of Buu.
Buu-Tanks and Kid Buu would very much be relevant. So what I'm asking you is, where do you have Kid Buu out of all 8 Buus?
Just 2 or 3. Like, I'm gonna be like so honest with you. I don't know because the only Buu-Tanks statements I'm aware of is just one where he says, "I'm the strongest Majin, past, present, and future," and it's like that's a fallible character statement. I don't even know if he has any guidebook statements to back up or anything. So like, who cares? I don't know. Kid Buu is 2 or 3.
Okay, right? So he's 2 or 3. So then, if you're putting him at number 2, then your earlier argument fails.
No, it's because Buu-Tanks isn't called the strongest Majin or whatever. Like, my thing is like, okay, it could be the case as in Kid Buu could be number 2 because he can scale to the Spirit Bomb, and I don't think.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you this: Why are you referring to Buuhan as just simply a Majin? Are you just going off of?
I was a Buu too, but like I was just referring in the context of the statements. That's what it likely means.
Okay. So now your argument's switching up. I don't really give a shit.
All right. Have a good day, man.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify something real quick. As you can see at the end of that video, Goji was just being nice and respectful the entire time. He was being completely calm and respectful. Echo, on the other hand, was bugging the fuck out.
Yeah, you can think that, Kalizer.
At this point in the video, I tell Echo that, hey, I'm going to make a video about this. Because I want to criticize some of Echo's performance within this. Nothing disrespectful, just respectful. And if he doesn't want me to, then he can say, yeah, no, I don't want you to. But then he gets dickish. Now just continue to watch.
Beat them first.
Hold on, Calazir. I was tracking. I don't give a shit if you make a post. Knowing your weird fucking ass, you probably will anyway.
See, I wasn't being disrespectful. I was pointing out a critique of his debating skills, which is something debaters will do with each other often. Yugi did it with me, Seb did it with me, CPT even did it with me, and I don't think he's a debater. Shadow did it with me, Rezi did it with me, everyone has done it with me when I wasn't tracking. And what I did was I tried to learn from it. I'm a better debater now. I debate more than just fiction topics as well. But Echo, again, I mean no disrespect. This was just to criticize your performance in this debate because I think it was pretty lackluster and I think you lost. And if you want to, we can discuss why you lost on Discord or I can host a live just talking about it.